end to what you can do in beer. And at the end of the day, you get to drink really, really tasty products. I've brewed beer with barley, wheat.
Lots of fruit, raspberries, blueberries.
Lime, we brew beer with potatoes.
Choke cherries, Saskatoons,
Ginger.
We've messed around with hemp.
blue corn,
Coconut, lots of coconut. Chocolate, coffee.
pumpkins.
Peanut butter, we brew beers with yogurt.
Wild rice from northern Saskatchewan.
We made a Tiger beer.
Cryogenically frozen hops, I'll throw that one in.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Earl Grey tea, ice cream cones.
We've had spruce tips, we've done, Adam's gonna kill me on this, Malty's done so many creative things.
What else have we thrown in there? Gosh. I always remember the ones that were a pain in the ass.
And I remember when we first opened this place, it was just shocking. And to see people come in and want to actually give you money for your beer, wow. I'm Mark Heisey, President and CEO at Rebellion Brewing Company. I was just fascinated. I was just, and I had made wine kits at home a bit. And I do appreciate good wine, but as a maker of it, there's not as much that you really have control over. You basically throw grapes and some yeast and water into a bucket, and that's it. When it comes to beer, the brewer has so much control over the final product. You can use a little bit of this, a little bit of that, this barley, that hops, endless amounts of creativity and creation. And so I think that's what got me really excited about beer as opposed to anything else. What really bugged me about some breweries that had frankly failed here in Saskatchewan, that had tried before us, they said, well, the masses aren't used to flavor, so we're gonna make really light beers. And I actually love light beers, but they don't have to be terrible. So that was a really big position of pride for me. I was like, we're gonna make light beers, but they're not gonna suck. And they're not gonna be like an insult to people that only like light beers. But at the same time, that's where we do like to challenge folks. We do like to make beers with cucumbers and watermelon, and we age beers in whiskey barrels. It never gets boring. You can never stop creating. It's almost like a musician or a songwriter. There's always a new song to write.
I think if you really care about excellence, you never feel if you've made it. And we don't. My name is Sean Moen. I'm the CEO and co-founder of 9 Mile Legacy Brewing in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. You'll see a sign in our cellar door that says, "Don't believe the hype." It's the process that makes you excellent, not any sort of end goal. And so we're constantly trying to refine that process as we go.
How's it taste? Is it?
I started brewing beer with my co-founder Garrett a decade before we started 9 Mile. I would have been about 30 when I decided to walk away from my legal career. I was on the doorstep of becoming a partner at one of the largest firms in the province. I was reasonably successful as a lawyer. Garrett was in a similar spot at one of the largest engineering firms in the province. We wanted to take a shot at something different. People would ask me early on in 9 Mile, what were you most afraid of at that point? Honestly, the thing I was most afraid of was becoming an old man and not taking a swing at something like this. When we first got going, the reason we made our own beer is we couldn't really get different beer styles in the province. In order to have an IPA, you had to go through the special order system, and you wouldn't get a fresh IPA. You wouldn't be able to get certain British styles. So it was always like a shock to the system every time you try something new, this beautiful aha moment that we were then able to recreate ourselves. And we started to think, well, what if we could share this with other people and make a living out of it? And here we are, probably almost 17, 18 years after that initial garage batch of beer, and we're still going it.
One of the things I learned so much early on in the process was just about the art of it, the craft aspect of actually making craft beer. My name's Josh Morrison. I'm the president of Pile Bones Brewing. Well, my beer journey begins, as most people in this industry, as homebrewers. I grew up here in Saskatchewan where we had pretty limited choice for craft beer, and if you wanted to drink craft beer in the early 2000s, you had to make it yourself. So I learned how to brew beer in my garage and things got out of hand. Creativity is the name of the game, and so we all brought recipes to the business when we came together. And we do kind of marry kind of traditional approaches, traditional styles with modern trends. For instance, the barley wine that we did with Nokomis, Plowwind, it is a very traditional English barley wine. It's been made that way for hundreds and hundreds of years. We aged it in barrels for a year. It's very traditional. But then we also want to create new flavors. So it's a blend of kind of bringing those traditional styles and new wacky things we can think of.
Part of the process.
Oh, okay.
Gotta see if it's carbonated. I'm bad for tasting the beer throughout the whole process and being worried the entire time that things are not going right. And then of course they always turn out okay. My name's Adam Smith. I'm one of the co-owners of Multinational Brewery in Regina. What is craft beer? Oh gosh, that's a loaded question. It's gonna get me in trouble, I feel. People back in the day would say size is a big part of it, but now often, obviously, things have grown so much that we see craft brewers in the States producing gigantic amounts of really great, amazing beer. So size doesn't really have much to do with it. I draw the parallel of ice cream in general with beer, you know? Ice cream, you go, there's so many fun flavors, there's something new all the time. We don't have to just make the same thing all the time. We can do whatever we want. And so when you have an idea, you're able to, you know, see that through. Yeah, I tell people, you know, if you tell us, you know, that you like something, and if I didn't make it, I always pass it along. Yeah, somebody was really wanting Greyhound yesterday, Kels, so they said it's the best thing they've ever drank. And see, that's how it goes.
I think one of the cool things about craft beer is that we're able to kind of bring that knowledge and bring that diversity of flavors into the market and give consumers that opportunity to taste some styles that they probably never even thought of before.
There's all sorts of great hobbies around. Collecting stamps is fun and all. At the end of the day, you've got a book full of stamps that you can't really do anything with. When you make beer, you get to drink it and share it with friends. It's pretty awesome.